Everyone thinks that going out for steak at a famous chain means enjoying a classy meal with consistent quality, but the harsh truth is that many steakhouse chains in America suffer from serious problems, from uneven quality, poor service, to the shocking fact that their star dish often turns out to be bread rolls or a salad bar. Below are the names you should think twice about before stepping in. Logan's Roadhouse. If there is one steakhouse chain in America you should stay far away from, it's Logan's Roadhouse. The name sounds fancy, but once inside it feels more like a noisy roadhouse than a place specializing in steak. The atmosphere is always loud, with country music blasting peanut shells scattered across the floor, and staff rushing around in a vibe that says, "Come as you are, whoever you are." The menu is endless, from beer-battered onion rings and Carolina shrimp to char-grilled ribeye, supposedly designed to please everyone. But the real problem is the shocking inconsistency. Eating at Logan's is like playing the lottery. Some people praise it as a hidden gem with friendly service and unforgettable steak. Yet flip to the next review and you'll see bitter complaints, rude staff, cold food, and beef tougher than shoe leather. There's no middle ground here. It's either lucky or disaster. In fact, one famous food critic even advised, if you want fried catfish at Logan's, fine, but avoid the meatballs and especially the steak. When a place that has steakhouse in its very name gets warnings from experts to skip the steak, its reputation is clearly in ruins. At the end of the day, Logan's Roadhouse is only suited for those who want a noisy place to drink beer and snack. But if you actually crave a juicy, tender, perfectly cooked steak, Logan's is absolutely not for you. With such extreme hit or miss odds, this is one of the steakhouses you should avoid at all costs. Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse is a cultural phenomenon in America. Mention the name and most people picture the lively scene staff breaking into line dancing at any moment, loud music, and jam-packed tables. It's the perfect spot to bring the whole family or kids without worrying about noise complaints. But the irony is that the #1 star of Texas Roadhouse isn't the steak at all. It's the basket of warm rolls served with cinnamon honey butter. Yes, these rolls are so delicious they can make people return just for them. In fact, many admit they remember the sweet cinnamon honey butter more than any bite of beef here. But think about it, you walk into a steakhouse, pay for beef, and the most memorable thing turns out to be free bread. The biggest issue at Texas Roadhouse is inconsistency. One day you might get a tender Dallas filet worth every penny, but the next visit the baked potato could be ice cold and service so slow you miss the entire first quarter of a football game. Having to gamble on your meal is exhausting. To be fair, Texas Roadhouse is deeply tied to local communities, often hosting events, and the atmosphere is undeniably fun. But if we're judging strictly as a steakhouse, it falls short. The beef, the soul of the place, only scores on luck. At Texas Roadhouse, you come for the rolls, stay for the fun, and pray for the main course. And a steakhouse where guests need to pray before eating is clearly one to avoid if you want a proper steak dinner. Longhorn Steakhouse. Longhorn Steakhouse is found in nearly every suburban shopping center in America. It's the safe choice for anyone wanting a steak meal that's neither too fancy nor too cheap. The decor follows a modern Western theme, cozy with dark wood and stone, classy enough for a casual date. Its biggest selling point is the promise of fresh, never frozen steak, something many other chains can't claim. It all sounds perfect, but reality bites. The steak quality at Longhorn is wildly inconsistent. A regular customer in Florida once wrote last week the outlaw ribeye was amazing, a solid 10 out of 10. But the next time that same cut was full of gristle and bone dry, the staff seemed overwhelmed, service chaotic. This shows you can never be sure what kind of experience you'll get. Longhorn is like a student capable of scoring an A, but too often settling for a B because of inconsistency. A steakhouse chain with solid facilities and a strong menu, yet unable to deliver steady quality. And when steak, the very heart of the place, becomes a game of chance, the best advice is to stay away if you're seeking a memorable steak meal. Haas's Family Steak & Sea. Walking into Haas's Family Steak and Sea feels like stepping back into the 1980s. It's a classic family-style restaurant, remembered more for its salad, soup, and dessert buffet than for steak. Their salad bar is pure childhood nostalgia with iceberg lettuce ranch dressing, chicken noodle soup, and pie, a feast many loyal guests still cherish. The real problem, however, is the steak, the supposed main attraction, which barely registers as good enough. One customer in Harrisburg put it bluntly, the salad bar is still great, but the steak is just passable. An hour after leaving, I couldn't even remember what I had eaten. In other words, the side dishes completely overshadowed the dish that should define the restaurant. Haas's delivers comfort and nostalgia, but in a market full of choices, a steak that's just filling isn't enough. If you're there for a cheap salad bar, fine. But if you expect a truly good steak, Haas's is absolutely not your place. This is a textbook case of a nice past that can't rescue a bland present. Outback Steakhouse. Outback Steakhouse was once one of the most famous steakhouse chains in America. They created the legendary appetizer, the Blooming Onion, a giant deep-fried onion packed with nearly 2,000 calories. This dish became an icon and made more people know Outback for it than for steak. But here's the issue, this is a steakhouse, not an onion house. Outback's steak is notoriously inconsistent. In Cleveland, customers praise the Blooming Onion for always being crispy and the ribeye grilled perfectly to medium rare. But move to another city and you'll hear complaints, the onion greasy, the ribeye dry, and tough like shoe leather. This hit or miss reality has ruined Outback's image. The easiest comparison eating at Outback is like watching a blockbuster movie series. The first installment was a huge success, exciting everyone. But the later episodes are full of flops, leaving audiences disappointed. A steakhouse brand cannot survive only on one flashy appetizer. Steak is the soul, and when the soul falters, everything collapses. So if you're looking for a steady steak dinner, Outback is not the place to bet on. You might get an amazing experience or a total disaster on your plate. Saltgrass Steakhouse. Saltgrass Steakhouse built its brand on an appealing idea, Texas campfire-style grilling. They use certified Angus beef grilled over open flames, promising that charred edge flavor you can't easily recreate at home. The menu is fairly diverse, from classic T-bone to upscale Wagyu, even smoked mac and cheese that many people praise. It all sounds worth the wait. In practice, Saltgrass almost never delivers major disappointment. You'll usually get a pleasant meal steak cooked to order, decent service and sides that taste fine. But there's one problem, everything tops out at just pretty good. Customers often describe Saltgrass as a solid B+ experience. Nothing terrible, but nothing explosive enough to be truly memorable. One person remarked, "The steak was cooked right, the mac and cheese tasty, but nothing that makes me drive out of my way to come back." In a brutal market where steakhouses pop up everywhere, good enough won't hold customers for long. Saltgrass is a fine horse, reliable and attractive, but it will never win the Kentucky Derby. And if you're spending time and money for a steak worth remembering, pretty good simply isn't enough. Sizzler, nostalgia over quality. Mention Sizzler and many middle-aged Americans immediately recall the golden era of the 1980s and 90s when just a few bucks got you an all-you-can-eat meal. Walk into Sizzler today and you still sense the flavor of the past diner-style booths, family-friendly atmosphere, and of course the legendary salad buffet. This is what keeps customers coming back. The salad bar isn't just lettuce. It's loaded with pasta tacos, chicken wings, even hot soup. Many diners at Sizzler fill up on the buffet alone, treating it as the star instead of the steak. And that's the core issue. Sizzler's steak is strictly average, just doing enough to fill the role. Not terrible, but certainly not memorable. One blogger bluntly wrote, "Sizzler will never give you the best steak of your life. But for the price, you'll get a decent cut of meat and a ticket back to your childhood at the salad bar." This proves Sizzler survives not on steak quality, but on nostalgia. But do you go out for steak to relive memories or to enjoy a truly good meal? If you choose the latter, then Sizzler should not be on your list. It's a place to eat for fun, not to seriously experience quality steak. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is one of the most luxurious names in America. For over 50 years, it has been the go-to spot for big occasions, anniversaries, graduations, promotions. They're famous for their dramatic stage effect USDA prime steak served on a 500 degrees Celsius sizzling plate butter, melting and crackling with rich aroma. When everything is perfect, the Ruth's Chris experience is truly memorable. But the problem lies in its sky-high price tag. When you pay hundreds of dollars for a meal, the expectations must also be absolute. And this is where Ruth's Chris often disappoints. Many locations, especially in busy tourist cities, fail to uphold standards. Customers complain of overcooked steaks, stiff or even sluggish service. One guest bitterly wrote $80 for a burnt ribeye. That dish should never have left the kitchen. Yes, when Ruth's Chris gets it right, it's a world-class experience. But with just one slip, the customer's mood turns instantly from joy to fury. Because at that price point, there's zero room for error. And that's why many warn, if you want consistently good steak, don't bet on Ruth's Chris. Black Angus Steakhouse. Black Angus is a veteran in the steakhouse world, founded in the 1960s, famous for its classic American style and relaxed, unfussy atmosphere. Their philosophy is simple age beef, at least 21 days, to build flavor, then grill it directly over an open flame. This has allowed Black Angus to maintain a steadiness that many chains struggle to match. One strength customers love is the value they get for their money. The Campfire Feast for Two combo is so popular, it's considered the brand's signature. For a reasonable price, you get a mountain of food. Appetizers, 2 entrees, 4 sides, and dessert. Many praise it as one of the best deals in the steakhouse world. However, Black Angus suffers from one seemingly small but critical flaw in precision in steak preparation. 9 times the fillet is tender and perfectly medium rare, but 1 time it comes overcooked, stripping away all the joy of a quality cut. And that 1 time is enough to keep Black Angus out of the elite ranks. A steakhouse may be steady, affordable, and pleasant, but if it occasionally fails with its flagship dish, that's enough reason for customers to stay cautious. You don't pay to play the odds, not even when the chance of disappointment is just 10%. Morton's the Steakhouse. Morton's the Steakhouse is a familiar name in the fine dining scene. It's where people sign big contracts, propose marriage, or host lavish dinners. The setting is iconic with dark wood, crisp white tablecloths, and confidence in every detail. Its biggest highlight serving only USDA prime beef. The very top grade of American beef, no exceptions. Beyond steak, Morton's is also renowned for its extravagant seafood tower, lobster, crab, clams, oysters, stacked like a royal banquet. When everything clicks a night at Morton's feels truly high class, guests often leave with the sense they've experienced an elite feast. But at sky-high prices, $80 for a ribeye is just the baseline. Even the smallest slip can ruin the entire experience. Some reviews recount getting burnt steaks, overcooked meat, or painfully slow service. At this level, 99% perfect isn't a compliment. It's a warning. The 1% left is too much to forgive. Morton's is proof of a hard truth luxury, and high price do not equal absolute consistency. When you pay for perfection, even the smallest mistake becomes a disaster. And that's why many diners caution, if you don't want disappointment on a special occasion, think carefully before booking Morton's. These names may be crowded, may be famous, but steak is not a game of chance. You go to a steakhouse to be certain of enjoying a proper cut of beef, not to roll the dice. So if you don't want to waste money and walk away disappointed, avoid these 10 restaurants. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to hit like, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you more quality content. See you in the next video.